Hello, I am in a hotel. I am right by Interstate Highway 25. I have the door open because I don't like air conditioning. So I'm hoping that the traffic sounds don't bleed through. I um, I came so close to not being on this call today. Um, there's a great song. I am weary, but I'm not worn out. And a lot of us during this time are having to take time outs so that we don't get worn out, so that we can find ourselves weary but not worn out. So today's call I'm dedicating to um, sanctuary, and I want to tell the story. I want to tell the story because in the realms of the beloved from which I come and of which I am a part, um, and which loves humankind in its multiple, diverse, multiverse manners. Um, Sanctuary was an event and a happening. Good morning, Sylvie. Good morning, Liz. So Sanctuary was an event, but it was that happened to a small group of people that are the reason that I'm sitting here with you today. So, most of you on this call, or they'll be listening later, know that I kind of lived as an out of body experience for a tremendous amount of my existence up till I was about 54. And there was a group of people that formed around me, Janet, Michael, uh, Dina, in the early years, Deb, Russ, Cynthia, Janie, Jim. We all formed in this small community of people. One of my clients had actually were ambassadors. The wife and husband were both ambassadors in the Washington, D.C. area, and they asked if I would like to watch their home. We only had to pay utilities. I think we're a maybe 7 bedroom house. And we were right on the Georgetown Parkway, but the Georgetown Parkway has, I think, a 15-mile buffer of woods and grass before there's any homes. So behind us, we were at a cul-de-sac. We were at the very back of the cul-de-sac. The very back of this cul-de-sac, there was this massive uh, leeway of trees and grass before you got to the Georgetown Parkway. Fast forward after I left that sanctuary and we closed it down in Washington, D.C. We bought a home in Ostrander, Ohio. It was on the Scioto River. We had a huge amount of acreage, and that flooded. Deb and I used to sit with our backs. We were the only ones that didn't flood into the house. Every the neighbors, it would flood into the house, and they just cleaned it up for the next year. We were out in the middle of nowhere, not on the Georgetown Parkway, farmland as far as the eyes could see. You could see a tornado 20 miles away. And I lived in the garage. We made it into my office and my teaching room and my bedroom because at that time my sensitivities to electronics and people was overwhelming. And that was our second sanctuary. We bought it for 169,000. I think it's pretty much dilapidated now. A biker trucker repair people took it over. But it was amazing. It was amazing. We had an Olympic sized pool. I used the pool house and and the garage for classes. And then I moved to California, and nowhere could I find sanctuary. I had, I knew there needed to be another one, and I thought it was going to be in California, and I thought people would rally like they did in Washington D.C. and Ohio, because people rallied and created these sanctuaries, not for me, but with me, and so it's just one failed attempt after another. For a while, I did courses at Harmony Ridge Lodge in California, and and then I made a deal with the owner that if I paid a chunk of change and created an extra room for them, that I could then live there free, and we would make sure that I got to have my sanctuary there. But that was a ruse. And then I moved to another place and found out that that wasn't going to work either. That what people said was going to be so, and what was actually so wasn't the same. So it was really, really defeating. It was the biggest defeating aspect of my being in California. But in the midst of all that, I forgot sanctuary. I didn't forget it like a memory. I forgot it like a remembrance, like a recall, like in the work we did in iMagi this month, or one of the two, iMagi, I'm sure, when we worked on recall and remembrance. But I no longer recalled it, and I couldn't remember what it was anymore. It was like it got lost in the fog until yesterday. And one of the things I realized in my home here in Albuquerque is it just doesn't carry the land is beautiful, and the house is lovely, and for one or two people for kind of private work when the house is free, it'll work out beautifully. So it isn't like it doesn't carry an element of care. But I had forgotten where sanctuary comes from. I I I had when I say that word forgotten, try not to have it be memory. It was really I couldn't recall the state of existence that we lived in sanctuary, and over the failed attempts in California, it had faded into I needed my sanctuary, which was more of a place than a realm. And my house is my sanctuary. And it comes with all the household things that happen when you live somewhere. And and where we used to live in the two sanctuaries, everybody was like that was the priority. The priority was making a place for people to come, um, and and this house is busy with dogs and my daughter and human lives, and it's fine. It's no problem. It's just that I kind of had a meltdown Monday. A couple of things happened that were life defeating. So I went and checked into a beautiful hotel with the door closed. You don't hear the Route 25, because there's a beautiful pool that is completely glassed in on top, and you're looking right straight up at the sky, about I don't know 3 stories up, and a hot tub, and I'm right across from my heart clinic, and I can watch HBO and just recoup, basically recoup myself. And but then something happened yesterday, and really honestly out of the blue, Beryl's been to our sanctuary in Ohio. She remembers. It'll be fun to reinstate it today, because it reinstated itself. That's what just I can't get over it. So yesterday, what I've been doing is my Albuquerque is really amazing and it has a high crime rate and there's homeless everywhere and you can see the hookers walking down the street and it's just so seedy on one hand and we have poverty and prejudice. Not really prejudice, that's not really true. We don't really have racism here. We do have, from my daughter's point of view, not from mine, a, a fairly belligerent um, police force, they say. We shall see. I'm not sure that's going to hold that to be real. But all in all, it's not the place for those of us that want to live in gated communities, a section away from the world so that we can hide out. It's not the place you want to come. It's uh, it's eclectic, to say the least. But in the midst of it, going to Costco or going to CVS, I can those are for those of you that are overseas, they're a drugstore and a grocery store or a big department store. You can just feel the mother coming through your feet. You can just feel her. And then I've got my favorite place for those of you that come, Elena Gallegos um, Nature Park, where she just pulses. And all her breasts are these mountains, this incredible mountain. But on Monday, I knew I was going to have to give up sanctuary because I'd been given another instruction. And I'm not going to say that instruction today, but it was mandatory because I do really live in spirit. I don't share it because it's so friggin' domesticated and so made into spirituality and religion, but I really do. I really do live it. And I had an instruction and I knew to follow that instruction, which is to have that place on Georgia Street Southeast be a home. Good morning, Ava. And Ava, did you ever come to one of the sanctuaries? Can't remember. Um, but I was just making peace about it and letting it go and knowing that I would be faithful to the instruction I was given on behalf of what my God said to me when I was 16. Take good care of my people. You need you need touch only one, but you will never know which one. But sometimes there is the one that you've been asked to tend. So yesterday I went to the aquarium in Albuquerque and it's connected to what they call the garden. Well, yes, yes, Ava. Sanctuary is still pretty alive in us when we were playing together, was still pretty alive. And so I assumed the garden was as small as the aquarium. I didn't even cover a third of it, not even a third. It was unbelievable. I'm going to post all the pictures here on the Sacred Space for Rest and Courage in the group. I'm going to post it. But it was unbelievable. And the first garden I went into was the Spanish garden that is what basically in Spain, how they do their homes and with all the tiles. And then there was a Japanese garden, and then there was the desert garden and the Mediterranean garden. And those are the ones that I can remember. And they were all huge. And something's happening to me. It all kind of started in the sanctuary because the aquarium, the sanctuary for the creatures. It all it all started in the aquarium because there were these oh, what do you call them? stingrays. I mean, probably 20 of them. And I was talking to this little boy, uh, and his mama's helping me because he didn't speak English. But I was telling the story of these stingrays that my ex had swum with in um, Hawaii, Glenn, for those of you that know, and two stingrays had swum with him, white ones. Oh my God. It was, everybody was standing on the beach. They were expecting him to be stung, but he's a water creature, and they were just celebrating his arrival. It was awesome. So I was telling the story to the little boy because he was clearly scared of these stingrays. And then they came up. So let's see. So, like a big long gate, but not too far, like maybe 5 feet wide and about 4 feet high, this glass enclosure where you see the water. And we were standing there, and two of the stingrays, the big ones, literally came up on the glass and glued themselves to the glass as I was telling the story. And you know what? I just can't apologize anymore. And I don't mean I do. But there's an element of, I guess we'd call it hiding our light. Um, ugh, it feels so egotistical. But I really, my, the fact that that I engage with the universe and it engages with me, and we have such a love affair. It's just so magical and so complete and so full that I'm always startled by human beings, and they're I'm always startled. And it just didn't seem that, not that we haven't experienced it that way, I'm not saying that, but it seems like in the everyday life of a human being, I don't know, it sounds like I make wrong and I don't mean to, but mostly for me, it's the mother and how she keeps me whole so I can give that matters to me. And I'm grateful. I'm just incredibly grateful. Especially these last 4 days that were so hard, so really brutal, really brutal. And nobody's fault. People are just busy about what matters to them and their own lives. But you know what it's like. All of us have something that'll take us out, and it's not meant to take us out. Nobody even realizes it took us out. But my dream of sanctuary uh, really got slammed. So anyway, yesterday I had just left this little engagement with everybody around speaking Spanish, and then I knew these big fish that were in there were called gar, and there was no sign saying what these big fish were, because gars are the only thing that can swim with stingrays, because everybody else gets got in the way. They're kind of in trouble. So when I came out, I bought my pass to the zoo, and the lady says, make sure, because I had this incredible green chili lunch, and the lady made it just perfect for my Mediterranean diet I'm on, or eating plan I'm on. Doesn't feel like a diet at all. And so she said, be sure to go to the garden. So I'm thinking a little garden, maybe. I mean, God, I think the thing's like 5 acres or more, maybe 10. So I can feel it happening the minute I get in there. The first thing is I look over. There seems to be something really tall, like a creature to the left, but I'm drawn to go to the right. And I go to the Spanish garden, which is gorgeous. Everything is gorgeous. And then this big grassy playing field. I mean, just, place and a place for music. And I mean, I clearly had walked into paradise. And then I could feel it starting. We have this I thing that keeps trying to get over what what hurts us. You know, like we get hurt and then we try to get over it through our own thinking, through our own, I don't know, maybe even sensibilities, which is at least an advance on thinking. But really, it's the mother and it's the sanctuary of life. It's where it finds you when you need it. And when we were in sanctuary, at first in Washington, D.C., and then in Ohio, we were constantly found. We were, we had dreams. A lot of us lived in the same house. We had dreams and then we got visitations and then we had artists that painted it and took care of it and in Washington D.C. and we had children. We got to Ohio, so it was much more a shared field, as Beryl said, of children running around in the pool and all kinds of children, pierced children and tattooed children and Vogue model children and naked children and it was like an Eden, like a paradise. Dance parties at night on the weekends only and lots of courses. It was really a little mini paradise. So I see these Japanese gardens. I see the sign. So I'm walking towards the sign of the Japanese garden and there it is. It says it right there, this Japanese tea house. Big, like a sort of expanded version of a little teeny Japanese tea house. And it says right on the thing, um, I wish I'd taken a picture of the sign, but I'll recreate it as best I can. It said, for your own private sanctuary, rental available. And I turned around and I looked out at all the benches and an eating area over to the left and restrooms over to the left in the middle of this gigantic place that had no restaurants or sitting areas anywhere for a long period of time and benches for people to sit and they could wander and I cried because I had wanted to bring people to the land here, not to the place, not to the physical building of a sanctuary, and here it was. It was right there, and it was perfect. So I walked back and asked the lady who I talked to about a rental, do I know for what or when? Well, next year for sure. But no, I don't. I just know that I made two promises, and one I could keep, and it didn't look like I could keep the other one, which was to find a place for people to come, and I did, or it found me, and it really did. Sanctuary found me, and that's what spirit is. It's what it meant in the prophetics before the prophetics last year when it said that thank humanity for their service. We'll take it from here. And I know that's true. I know that we'll be held by spirit. And for me, it's the mother and nature and the land and the cosmos, because my realm isn't from here. My realm is from even past this galaxy. The realm of the beloveds or a collective of consciousnesses from all over the universe. And this is one of their precious locations that once had held paradise here. There's a lot of activity in wanting to restore it. So here I was. So last night, before I had a call, scheduled call, about a half an hour before that call, I got in a text tiff. I have new terminology. If you all would like to have it, one is trauma drama, which I think is already coined, but I'd never really. I Monday was a really good uh, swimming in the sea of trauma drama day for me. It was Sunday and Monday, and or Sunday actually, And boy, am I not used to it. I am not used to it. I wrote a letter to Gary Place. Those of you who know who he is, he's an inmate who should have been released a long time ago. But he's in one of those states where they are opinionated in a manner that keeps him in jail long after his PTSD healing is complete. So I knew I had a call with him at 7 this morning, and then I had you all at 8. And yesterday on that call, I was scheduled for. I had this what I call a text tiff, uh, uh, and I it just bled me out again. It just bled me out again. And it was interesting on the call. It was with Heather, who's on the call here. It was interesting. It was interesting because Heather and I were talking about. There's a song by Shanae Lohan. Somebody make sure I do these things I say I'm going to do on this on the group page, and it says, "Who who am I? No, who I do you know who I am?" And the words go something like, "I am not. Uh, I am traveling over the steeples, watching broken-hearted people sharing their tears." And it's a really beautiful song. I'll put it on in the words. But I've always identified with it because I there's a certain dislike of me often, like I'm holding myself better than people, or that I don't know, think I'm great shakes. I'm not sure what it is, or that I have the answer to things. I'm not sure. But truly, I just try to stay in my privacy because I love being alive. And oh, hi, darling. Oh, really, to go make me cry again. Praline got to meet COVID. where a few of us are corralling her so that we can have a conversation about pardoning with her on behalf of life. So she got to have that adventure these last weeks. So, but and I even in this call, I find I want to apologize for it. Like I'm sorry that I love Shining Bright, and I'm sorry that stingrays love to come play, and I just don't I just couldn't survive here if that wasn't where I lived. I just couldn't survive here without it. And I know that I know the realms of love want us to survive here. And hey, Anne, if you're not busy, can you get the words and post them? They're beautiful words. Thanks. If you can't double task on a computer, I get it. Um, but yesterday was for me, but also for me as finding a place where I can bring people and have them experience this connectivity with these realms of spirit that we got to be part of even before our children were born, even before our children were born in Washington, D.C., before Megan and Josh and Aaron and Leona were born. That's how long ago it was. I can feel it now. I can feel that it's back inside me again. So I'm okay now. But anyway, so in the text tiff kind of, and then I couldn't hear the talk that we were trying to record, so I had to get off that. And I just noticed how this certain things are just depleting me really rapidly, and it keeps catching me by surprise. And then um, this morning, this morning when I woke up, I was just physically exhausted, just drained, and for the first time ever, thought about canceling this sacred place of rest and courage because I didn't think I could hold the field of it. I could be contributory, that I that I would or that I needed to stop. And um, I listened to Praline's recording for her kids, and in it she talked about what happens in COVID. But post COVID just amplifies what we're all going through, and that sometimes your battery's charged and sometimes it isn't. And I'd lost my battery charge basically. So I went in to make a note to all of you on this page saying I'm going to be on, but I'm very weary. And instead, what popped up was Sanctuary 20 plus years ago. It was a page that I had started over 25 years ago. I didn't even remember it. And it popped up on my phone. Never have I seen it, even once, in all the years that I have been inside of Facebook. And I think it was actually 25 years ago when I did that. And we all worked on it. But the only, um, what was left, because they delete them after so long a time, was 2009. And Dina was looking for people that had been part of that sanctuary. Um, and I knew where some of them were. They live in Colorado. Salo and her mother Linda were the ones that painted our sanctuary in Washington D.C., and they're still living in Colorado. And the others I didn't know where they were. And but then it all came back. It all I was in recall for those of you that did I Magi. I was in complete recall. I was in all those moments that Deb had come in the kitchen, and this is in Washington D.C. And although it happened also in Ohio, and she'd say, I had a dream last night," and instantly we would stop. We would stop everything, and we would go sit in our room, and she would share her dream, and that would ping others of us, and we would realize where Spirit was directing us, what it was, what it was asking us to do, and what it was asking us to be, and we would comply. And we've never stopped doing that, basically, Deb, Russ, and I. We've never stopped complying to the voices and the beings and the presences and the realm of sanctuary that we were held by during those formative years, both in Washington, D.C. area and in Ohio. And I think it's very significant that Sanctuary's back. Sanctuary isn't just a place. Sanctuary was a place we had that had the right conditions for this connection between spirits and humans. We don't have the right words. Realms of being that love us and humans to connect. I think that's it. I think I think I am in awe, and I'm grateful. I'm looking up Shanae Lohan because I know how hard it is to double task on a computer. And I seem to be capable of that. So we shall first of all get a link, and we will put it on the comment page. Oh, it's Bing. Sorry, I hate Bing. I will go to my other. Bing is gives away information. So I'd like you all, if you don't mind, if there's anything you want to ask or anything you want to share, uh, then I will see if there's further to go. I just don't want to sacrifice the space. I want to give the space a chance to be the space of sanctuary because it goes beyond words and it goes beyond. It's why I've never been able to be a minister. Yeah, I'll get it in. No worry, I'm good. Um, I've never. Thank you for starting the path. Shared experience, shared activity. So the point is that I think it's important what I'm saying today. I think it's evidence that that which that which we are part of, that are from the greater systems of reality of which we're a part, that this place once had a once had a what's the word I want once had a high activity of uh, I think I think that it's I think that it's very significant because I think that the realm of it is back, and I have been quiet about it because we're no good without that which loves us. We're just not. It's too hard. These times ahead have been predicted by forever, not just by me, but by many people, many seers, many prophets, many. And it's really it's really a time where humanity, it's like the Old Testament all over again. It's like the Old Testament all over again. And I don't mean religiously. I mean it's during the times that the beings that participated in um, some of them, some of them, and not in a user-friendly way. Um, they, you know, they wreaked havoc here, and they turned humanity against itself, and they had us forget the original connections that loved us. It literally had us forget, and that remembrance that is returning, it really is significant because it's um, it's evidence that that which we once participated with and that which once visited us and took care of us and held us while this kind of war over this planet was going on, um, is is active again. And I always knew was going to be active during these times. I always knew that, and um, I always knew that. And so I'm just going to very carefully and very gently, not trying to, which is that's the part that's really kind of hard for me right now, is that I really feel this particular realm of creation very strongly at this time. And yet I know others do not, that they're still caught in human centricity. And it won't make any difference if I know that. I'd just end up a preacher, preaching something that nobody's experiencing, is still and simply hoping for. So I realized today that when it came bouncing in with all its magic and all its glory, and that it's like when the light has broken through, in a in a in a when the darkness is just overwhelming. Um, it is the it, it is just hard. It is just hard. And this is a period of time, and this is a period of time where we are actually experiencing um, a very huge, I don't know if it's a war, engagement, um, a very huge engagement with what this earth was actually designed for, and what many realms of creation knew was possible here because of this amazing planet and her consciousness and her ability to shine the light and the darkness and to transmute trauma into life force energy. And but it's really an important thing. I hope you can hear me. It's really an important thing that we have the ability to to for that which loves us to find us again. It's just that simple. It's just really important that that which loves us can find us again. We just have to do our part on behalf of that, because we have to give it a chance. We just have to give it a chance that we are part of something greater than ourselves. And it's not going to let me do it either. I'll do it after. I'll do it after we're done. Won't let me do it while I'm on the line. So I really appreciate everybody that's participating um, in these times. You know, I really appreciate it because the phenomenon that we're in right now is something that is maybe as I make these calls, and people who come on iMagi are on those calls, and it doesn't matter. It can just be a trickle of us. Sometimes it is, and sometimes it isn't. It isn't like we're special, or we're we're going to save the day. No, we're going to take care of ourselves on behalf of all life, which of course, by the nature of that, takes care of others in an inclusive way. Because if we can be a beacon where sanctuary can find us, and I like the term sanctuary, because the minute I get into the realms of the beloved as words, or I get into that which loves us as phrases, or God, which is certainly not a decent word, because we have gods that go against this place and gods that operate on behalf of this place. So that part's not our business. That part, the realms of the GODs have to take care of. And because I am my strangeness, I have the ability to know that they are doing that. You know, I have that ability. So thank you, Gail. And I just did it too. We have it several times now. Guess it's making its point. So I have this uh, journey I started way back in time. My daughter's 39, so it would have been 45 years ago. And that journey started as Sanctuary, where we got all the information we that had us be faithful to Deb developing. She took the templates that Electra now has in LOC Institute, and she made them into a therapeutic practice. This year, she's going to be complete and able to start her own practice. And she'll be using the creation templates in her therapeutic practice. Heather Hunt has introduced them to her, will introduce them and uses them part of her yes, she is, Yvonne. That was the other thing that, oh gosh, you guys are making me cry. That was a primacy. See, this is the magic, Yvonne. It's when we become part of this shared field, and we see, we're able to see with each other in the field, something terrible happened to humanity. We got separated from each other, and then we learned to hate each other, and then we learned to hoard from each other, and then we learned because we just were really confused and lost in a bad dream. Something just snookered us and took these precious, amazing creatures called us and literally um, put them in a dream so that they could suck the life out of this earth and her beauty and her magic. So that was the really big thing yesterday. The whole time I was walking, she was right beside me and right there, like everything. How do you talk it? How do you talk about you step out of this nightmare, this bad dream that we got snookered into, that and and that we moved into, then that I got to move into the realm where the dream can't the nightmare doesn't have a place. And that's all we have to do is just uh um we just have to keep giving sanctuary a place. And Kaya, thank you for your words, because I this all just happened to me. After a while it'll unpack and I'll get its structure, and I'll be able to get the like an iMagi and iGuardian at the gate, and pretty soon and create a world and all these little islands in time that I'm doing with others in the field. I just want to do little islands in time until they're strong enough to come together, and with because when all these little islands are strong enough to get together, um, then it can take it can take a place. It can take the place of a section of the nightmare, I guess you'd say, or the illusion. I don't know if that's understandable, but that's what field phenomenon is. That's what building territories is all about. These small, coherent islands of creation in very small areas. But they build the quantum because the only reason we get kicked back into the nightmare is because we're not strong enough in the face of it. And what is strong enough in the face of it is the spiritual realms that partnered together to have a hub in this section of the universe where they and their multiple forms could come, embody, and experience the gift of this place that this precious planetary mother gave them the ability to come into form, gave us the ability to come into form, and gave us the ability to be part of this 6 year movement of these little islands wherever you are, restoring what I call paradise. And then they'll be strong enough to come back together again. And then there won't be any place for that which doesn't belong here anymore. Promise. But yesterday was evidence. Yesterday was evidence that, yeah, I'm just stopping again because I feel the presence of the shared field so strongly. It's been building the last few weeks. And only a few people need to come next year to this land. Because as we come together and we restore that shared field, um, I call it the one soul human. And I'm reading comments while I'm talking. It's great to be. I'm so happy I figured out how to do this on my computer because it lets me feel myself moving in your words and you moving in these words. And I think it, I think it, I think it, well, I know it ripples out to Glastonbury and ripples out to Africa and ripples out to Australia and ripples out across the world, Ireland. And that's really ours to do right now, is just to keep building these ripple effects, small little waves of coherence, and leave it to the greater systems of creation That's why the creation templates were created, that it's like a communication direct link with creation, of giving creation what it needs to rebuild the sacred geometry of life here. And it's just so much to say, so much to say. That's interesting about Hermitage, because when the thing before I went on Facebook to tell you all how weary I was, I'm not weary now, by the way. I wasn't weary once that sanctuary 20 years ago popped up, and it just gave me all back itself, all these weird things, these amazingly weird things. And the children saw it too. You know, the the children the children saw it too. They were part of it too. It was amazing, and it's why they are who they are today. That their spirit is strong. The spirit is strong. So today has been about restoring our direct link with creation. Hi, Jackie. We have a pregnant mama in our midst. I, of course, am the secret godmother. That means it's a secret from Jackie, too. But my other nature, my one that isn't limited by my humanity, uh, just takes things on without any need to inform or to be invited. It's probably what makes me so irritating. So just, Jackie. So, so let's do this, okay? Wherever we're standing, let's be open to sanctuary finding us, and to remember it's not a place, but it can find us. It just, I know that was the message. None of these thoughts were there before this morning when I saw sanctuary 20 plus years ago pop up in my face. Let's just give it a try. That not, we can't do this. We'll be made weary in an instant. One event can drain us. And then we just wait for it to pick us up and carry us again in all its multiple forms. And maybe we don't have the capacity right now to for visitations of divine beings and nature spirits and elementals. Maybe we're still too weary. But by gosh, by golly, we have held on, which means I have to post the other song. you know, and I know, I know, I know that it will come. I know that it will come. It is coming. I don't mean. Um, does anybody remember who sang that? She's a spiritualist. She's a fundamental Christian. She's really beautiful. She also um, oh, what is her name? Starts with an S also. Let's see if I can find her. And then uh, I can't believe this. It's not giving me. It's not giving it to me. I'm gonna go look on my YouTube. My YouTube has the song. I'll just find her in here. I know she's an S, so I should be able to find her. So we have uh, about 6 minutes, and I don't really know how to organize anything here. I uh, I just know that every time we come together, and it doesn't matter how small a group, it just find somebody that is resonating the possibility of the opening up into spirit. And I don't, and all the forms that we have that mostly mostly um, mostly stop our mind from being present to of being present to what uh, we're we're to be present to. And that's why it's the only reason I've never talked about spirit or promoted it, because it's a personal journey. It's not a collective journey, because we need, I said to Heather yesterday, this little cave of Brahman inside our head, this where the original, here she is, it's spirit, it's Jewel, that's who it is. Okay, now I can go find it. um and oops, I should have gone back and looked at the name of the song. Let me open up and the name of the song is Life Uncommon. Well, of course, Tantra. And so the point is that, can we just give it a try? Can we just look for others that experience, that can experience the I'm going to let this play a minute, and it's, oh, sorry, not this one. Sorry, I have to let the ad end. Did you all hear it? Sorry, we're doing this thing again. Okay, here we go. I don't know if you can hear it through my headsets. It's a test. Let me see. Oh shit. Sorry, did I lose you all? Oh no, I didn't. Oh no, here I am. Okay, good. That let me know. So here's the other one. It's really, these two songs I think represent today, and uh, and I'm glad that they came to me, um, and I don't know how to make anything else um, happen, but look for being supported, not by human beings unless it goes that way. Look for being supported by creation. Would you do that for me? That's my prayer. They're at the door. They're at the door. I know they are. And I know that we've lost words for what loves us. We've lost we've lost access points for what loves us. Um, we've lost the presences of what loves us, and it's not our fault. When we could get separated from each other, and we could get separated from that which loves us, everything became a nightmare, because it's the original nature of of the original design. So it's going to be slow going, okay? Everything's going to feel faster than lightning, but it's going to be slow going, in us just taking the time every day, every minute we can remember, because remember, we've been swimming in the sea of forgetting. A memory every day that that it they're trying to get in. Sanctuary was a place, it was a garden of creation, where we were visited and cared for and loved and adored while we were so messed up. We were really, really seriously messed up. And then the last thing I want to say is, I'm very aware. I have talked about it for over 40 years. And if only a few of you can mark my words and keep it in your, find a way, put it on a notebook, little piece of paper, carry it with you, because our poor neural wiring has been deeply affected to forget. And we, I don't know how to put it in good words, so I'm just going to use my fierce self before we end. Everything will try to separate us from each other now. Everything that took root on this planet to kill it. In the sky, in the heavens, in the etheric areas, they're doing their job too. All that's on the run. I promise. I'm a mystic. How many of you have been with me all this time? And you may not understood a thing I said, but Things did seem to have a fragrance like what I was speaking to, even though it wasn't your territory that you knew how to pay attention to. But that this would not have happened to me yesterday and this morning if there wasn't presences navigating their way back in here. Does that make sense to you? I couldn't have possibly, by accident, triggered Sanctuary 20 plus years ago. I couldn't have done that. Something did that. Something got through. Something got through. Human beings are the last battlefield. The control of human beings controls the planet. How about not here? Not here. And we don't have to fight anything. We just keep building back paradise where we're capable of building it back. And where we can't, we just give it room to work itself through. You know, it's going to be hard for me. Oh, thank you, Gail, for posting the poem. I didn't want to go through all that, what I was having to do and talk at the same time. Shared field, I love it. But you know, I'm going to have a conversation with my daughter, and it breaks my heart because I'm going to have to tell her I just am not available for trauma drama anymore. I can't do it. And she's not wrong. Nothing's wrong. It's just that I bled too bad. I got too weak. And I'm not mad at her. And and I'll find other ways like cute little emojis and I'll keep feeding her. But I can't have her scoop me up in the intensity of terror and the intensity of thinking she's not loved and the intensity of of existence that just isn't real. It just isn't real. If we're going to continue to hold harm to be real, because it is real, but it doesn't have to be real where we're building. It doesn't have to be real where we're building. Oh, I forgot. I'm going over 1 minute because I forgot. I've got to write my shifu. Something happened. I don't. Sometime while I was on my sabbatical. I don't remember where it happened. I was in a bathroom, and I was coming out of the bathroom, and a guy was standing there, and went. He looked like he was going to push me back in the bathroom, and I did martial arts, tai chi with this shifu, my shifu, Eileen, for a number of years, but it was mostly for calming my body and building my strength, stamina. I couldn't believe it. It happened so fast. It was just a glitch, but I slipped my foot under his foot and tripped him. It's actually a Tai Chi move. It's actually a martial arts move. And when he tripped, he broke his train of thought and he scurried off. And that happened one of these days. And I thought, isn't that interesting? We do have what's inside us now to tend to work our way through this time. And and for me personally, it's going to be important that I stay in paradise. That I that if I'm not trusted for who I am, people need to leave me alone because I have to trust myself now. If people don't trust you, take some distance because you need to be trustworthy for yourself now. Those are the kinds of things that are going to kind of tear us apart. And it's nobody's fault. We're all caught in the same nightmare. We used to have a saying in Sanctuary, and that the devil knows our Achilles heel and will do everything to find it when it starts to lose its power here. I know, I know it's a Christian term, and but they do a lot of work when they're in their true spirit of God. They do a lot of work about making sure the devil doesn't have a place. We might want to take that on too. Love you. Thank you for today. Thank you so much. And thank you for the magic that happened before we came on the call. So I had the strength, stamina, and capacity to experience this glorious event of your shares and your being with you.
See you later.